Guild Wars Reforged celebrated its release, and even though the changes to the game weren't huge, it still attracted a large number of players. At its peak, it reached over 5,350 concurrent players on Steam, and almost all returning players aren't even included in that number yet, since many of them probably played Guild Wars 1 through the regular client. This also lines up with the developer's statement that the rush of players was so overwhelming that they are currently working on adding additional servers to keep performance stable. But what exactly is Guild Wars Reforged, and for whom might it be worth jumping in or returning? Let's start with the reviews on Steam. There are already 1,553 reviews, 92% of which are positive. That currently makes it the highest-rated MMO on Steam. Players especially praise the tactical combat system, the story, the atmosphere, and of course the nostalgia. Some players returned specifically because of Reforged and bought the game again on Steam, either because they wanted to or because they had lost access to their old account. Many people also view the price positively. The game costs around $20 for all 3 base campaigns, and optionally another $10 for the only expansion, Eye of the North. Veteran players receiving the update for free is also seen as very fair, especially when compared directly to games like Warcraft 3 Reforged. So, what exactly is this Reforged version? Essentially, it's a mid-sized update that introduced dynamic bloom effects in the sky, new shadows and lighting, improved textures, positional audio support, some UI adjustments, a quest tracker, controller support, and Steam Deck verification. The Steam Deck experience in particular has received very positive feedback. The way the game controls and its relatively limited number of abilities make it well suited to handheld play. The quest tracker itself is a very small addition. It simply shows the currently selected quest from your log on the left side of the screen, along with what you need to do. When it comes to graphics, there's no massive leap forward, and visuals alone are definitely not a reason to return to the first Guild Wars. Interestingly, these changes weren't developed directly by ArenaNet, but by the indie studio 2 Weeks, which consists of former developers who previously worked on Guild Wars 1. So why should you play it today at all? This is probably the most common question in YouTube, and it's a fair one. The game is clearly dated, and no truly new content is being developed anymore. Yes, there's a somewhat cryptic teaser suggesting that work on Guild Wars 1 will continue, but this refers to technical improvements and maybe smaller quality of life updates, not new expansions, zones, or major content. Still, Guild Wars 1 has a certain magic. Part of it comes from the players themselves. The game world consists of cities where you see other players and instanced areas where you complete your objectives. The capital cities like Lion's Arch are almost always well populated. Players dance together, show off their titles and mini-pets, and socialize. Many players are currently starting in the Prophecies tutorial and meet veterans in Ascalon who are happy to answer questions. Trading is still done player to player because there's no auction house, which gives everything an old-school charm. You can clearly recognize the architecture and atmosphere that later appears in Guild Wars 2. It's a world made with a lot of love. There's definitely some nostalgia involved here, but you will genuinely enjoy the main stories of Nightfall, Factions, and Prophecies, even though Prophecies is very slow and requires a lot of running around. But maybe that's exactly what some players miss in modern games. The biggest unique selling point is undoubtedly the skill system. Each class has around 80 skills and can take on a secondary profession. In theory, this gives access to nearly all skills in the game. However, your primary class matters greatly, since only it can invest in its unique primary attribute. For example, Rangers reduce energy costs for spirits and attacks. Monks heal allies automatically with every spell, and Warriors gain armor penetration. You can only take 8 skills into battle at a time. This freedom, combined with severe limitations, led to wildly creative builds. There are warrior and monks who heal themselves as tanks, rangers who only summon ritualist spirits and never attack, or the famous 55 HP monk, who deliberately reduces health to 55 and becomes nearly invulnerable, unless someone can remove enchantments. Since the release of Nightfall, Guild Wars 1 has offered an excellent mix of group content and solo play. Elite areas and hard modes benefit greatly from teamwork, and while human players always outperformed NPCs in PvP, the introduction of heroes allowed players to fully build and equip NPC allies. This lets you run full 8-player groups alone, making it easy even today to experience the story and farm important titles. Those titles and achievements can even be transferred to Guild Wars 2 via the Hall of Monuments. When I log in nowadays, you will be amazed how active the Prophecies tutorial area is, and to see PvP feeling alive again. Guild Wars 1 has another special feature. You can instantly create a max-level PvP character. You customize skills and gear and jump straight into matches. It hardly gets fairer than that, although new players still need to unlock many skills, either through PvE, capturing elite skills, or using PvP points. Skill unlocks are account-wide and only need to be done once. In conclusion, you can complete the story and almost all PvE content solo. For harder elite areas, veterans are usually happy to help. The clever builds, tactical combat, make Guild Wars Reforged genuinely worth playing again. For Guild Wars 2 fans, it's especially interesting to explore the world in its past, learn more about the lore, and earn rewards for the sequel. With downtime until January, this is a perfect opportunity. What you won't get in Guild Wars 1 are modern controls, modern graphics, classic dungeons and raids, massive world bosses, or the competitive PvP scene of old. Everything is instanced, there's no jumping, and there are lots of invisible walls which can feel strange. On the plus side, there are many unique systems, like having to capture elite skills from bosses in PvE. Guild Wars 1 does things like this exceptionally well, if you're wondering where to start. Prophecies is the best starting for Guild Wars 2 lore, but slow and demanding. You can also go with Nightfall, a favorite of many players with good pacing and heroes available early. Or you try Factions with the fastest progression, no heroes, but a fascinating Asian-inspired setting. Are you playing Guild Wars Reforged? And if not, what would convince you to check it out?